The big tech stocks have reported their third quarter earnings for 2020. All of them have exceeded the earning expectations. However, the stock price has not risen as per the earning reports. In this video, we will take a look at the earnings of Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Twitter. We will go through the major metrics of the earnings reports. And we will try to understand why the stock price has not risen despite these blockbuster earnings. So please stay until end of the video to find out all the details about the earnings of these big tech stocks. Hi, I'm Arshad Ahmed, founder of DIYstockpicker.com, an investment portal dedicated to help investors make intelligent decisions. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. This video is for information purposes and should not be taken as an investment advice. We will start with the Apple stock. Apple has released the iPhone 12 series phones which are 5G enabled. But these phones were released in this quarter and hence the earnings will not show up until the next quarter. So here are the major earning highlights for the fourth quarter of Apple stock 2020. For Apple, this is the end of its fourth quarter and the end of the fiscal year. $64.7 billion of sales with an earnings per share of 73 cents. This translates to a 1% year-over-year growth. International sales accounted for 59% of the quarter's revenue. Apple's board of directors have declared a cash dividend of a little over 20 cents per share, $18 billion spent in stock buybacks. $22 billion have been returned to the shareholders in the form of dividends and stock buybacks. Net cash of $98 billion on the balance sheet. Here is a look at their revenue breakdown per product. iPhone sales $26.4 billion. Mac $9 billion, iPad $6.8 billion, wearables $7.9 billion, and services revenue of $14.5 billion for a total of over $64 billion sales. Here are some of the other highlights of the Apple stock. There has been a 29% decline in sales in Greater China. And the reason is that 5G has already been enabled in China market and the 5G phones have rolled out. So people are not going to spend money on the fourth generation iPhones which are not 5G enabled. There was no guidance issued for the expected sales of iPhone 12, but consumer reports point out that it's going to be another blockbuster cash cow for Apple. Here are the earning highlights for the Amazon stock third quarter 2020. $96.1 billion of sales with an earnings per share of $12.37. Free cash flow for the trailing 12 months is $29.5 billion, which is a 26% year-over-year increase. Amazon reported that it created hundreds of thousands of jobs worldwide in this quarter. Amazon Prime Day was held on October 13 to 14th in the United States, and Amazon India's Great Indian Festival was held on October 17. There was an announcement for a new gaming service for the Prime members. New generation of Echo devices, Fire Sticks, and AI updates to Alexa were released. Amazon Web Services has signed lucrative contracts with Moderna, Global Payments, Jack in the Box, and Best Western Hotels. Here is a look at the revenue breakdown. Product sales of $52.8 billion, service sales of $43.4 billion. One of the reasons for the stock being down may be the $4 billion charge related to COVID-19 costs. This charge will be on the income statement for the fourth quarter. Here is a look at the Google's third quarter 2020 earning highlights. $46.17 billion revenue for the quarter with an earnings per share of $16.40, representing a 14% year-over-year increase for Google. Huge investments were made in the Google search technology for AI and natural language processing. 30 million premium subscribers on YouTube. Google Cloud has won big contracts with US Defense and Nokia. Waymo, the fully autonomous ride-hailing service in suburban Phoenix, will open to the public. Waymo also entered into a global partnership with Daimler Trucks to enable autonomous trucking. Here is a revenue breakdown by the products. Google search revenue of $26.33 billion. YouTube revenue of $5.04 billion. Google Cloud revenue of $3.44 billion, Play Store YouTube sales of $5.48 billion. Google stock has increased more than 3% on these earnings. One of the issues that has been lingering for Google has been the antitrust litigation filed by the Justice Department. Google plans to vigorously defend itself in this lawsuit. Here is a look at the third quarter 2020 earnings for the Facebook stock. $21.47 billion revenue for the quarter with an earnings per share of $2.71. Cash and cash equivalents of $55.62 billion on the balance sheet. Daily active users of 1.82 billion for a 12% year-over-year increase. The number of people who use Facebook's various platforms like the Facebook app, WhatsApp, and Instagram has risen to 3.2 billion for a 15% increase. Facebook paid 4% tax in this quarter. This was due to a $913 million income tax benefit. This benefit was related to capitalizing research and development expenses. Some of the issues for the Facebook stock are: Apple is making changes to its iOS platform. This will result in difficulties for Facebook to target its ads. The regulatory developments in Europe may result in issues for transatlantic data transfers. There had been an advertising boycott on the Facebook platform that had been organized by civil rights groups. Here are the third quarter 2020 earning highlights for the Twitter stock. $936.2 million total revenue for the quarter with an earnings per share of 4%. This is a 14% year-over-year increase. Ad sales have increased due to return of sports and events in the third quarter. 187 million daily active users, but this is an increase of only 1 million users from the previous quarter. This parameter fell short of expectations for Twitter. Uncertainty in the next quarter surrounding earnings due to the US presidential election. $7.7 billion of cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet. $2 billion of stock buyback that had been announced in March has not yet been initiated due to the uncertain economic environment. Stock-based compensation of $116 million, which is 12% of the total revenue. So those were the big tech stock earnings for the third quarter of 2020. I have prepared videos analyzing LiDAR stocks, which you will see here on the end screen, and I hope to see you in those videos. Take care.